What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and today I'm going to show you the single strongest loadout that you can use for Gambit. I'm not even joking, this build tops them all. I've used a lot of different Gambit builds, but nothing has the amount of utility that this build provides. It can literally do everything. And before you say, well, what does this guy know? I was actually second in the world on PlayStation and I think top 10 overall in Gambit Elo back in Season of the Worthy, which was the only season I ever really ran stacked in Gambit. So I certainly know a thing or two about good Gambit builds. I've been using this build for months and I've been wanting to make a video on it, but I just haven't found the time. But with the long content drought, I am finally able to bring it to you guys. I will be breaking down everything that goes into this build and why it all synergizes so well together. Like the title suggests, this build could even make you, dare I say it, enjoy Gambit. And with a Gambit rework just around the corner with Witch Queen, there is no better time to try out this build. Let's jump in. So first of all, this build centers around two key components. First, we want to be on Middle Tree Sunbreaker, Code of the Devastator. This subclass has a lot going for it. The super Burning Maul tears through enemy waves in Gambit, and I have often cleared an entire side by myself with this super. Another key component to this build that we will get to later is the Throwing Hammer. This got a 50% buff in Season of the Lost, and you have probably seen clips of people doing some silly boss melts with this little hammer. Well, it can also melt Primevals, and I will break down how we do that later. But the most important part of Middle Tree is Roaring Flames. Kills with your solar abilities increase those abilities' damage, stacks up to 3 times. Now first off, how these stack is at 1 stack you do 30% more damage, 2 stacks 69%, and 3 stacks 120% more damage. That is a lot of extra damage. So you're probably thinking, oh nice, just run around and bonk everything with your hammer. And while this would easily kill enemies, this doesn't really have great group ad clear as it only hits one target at a time. So for the next key to this build, we run the exotic arms Ashen Wake. Remember these big bulky ass arms? Well, if you don't, they have an exotic perk called Bring the Heat. Fusion grenades now explode on impact and gain increased throw speed. Final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. Now, what is cool about these is if you kill high tier enemies with a grenade or take out like 3 to 4 red bars with one grenade, you will get your grenade back. This will allow us to spam our grenades and use them for ad clear. Now, because this build is based around our grenade, we need to always have a grenade on us, and that is where the mods come into play. So let's go over how we allow ourselves to always have a grenade ready. The only time you probably won't have a grenade is the first grenade kill of the game because you are not charged with light. So because of this, we'll run Elemental Ordnance, which allows us to spawn in an elemental well when we get a grenade kill. When we pick up that well, we'll proc 2 other mods. The first being Well of Ordnance, which will give us grenade energy back when we pick up a solar elemental well. The next thing it will do is give us 2 stacks of charge with light because we are also running Elemental Charge. Once we are charged with light, we can take advantage of the solar charge with light mod Firepower, which states while charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of charge with light. This mod also stacks, so I usually run 2 Firepower mods. But, and I will probably change this on my own build, I think we could probably get away with just 1 and run something like Well of Life for survivability instead. This will give you constant health regeneration whenever you pick up a solar elemental well. The choice is yours. What is so great about Firepower is that it procs as soon as you throw the grenade, so you'll get a chunk of grenade energy, and then when you kill an enemy, you'll get more energy from Ashen Wake, basically always giving you your grenade back. And if you don't quite get a full grenade charge, then when you pick up the well, you will proc Well of Ordnance to give you another chunk of grenade energy. So it all cycles into this positive feedback loop, where the more grenade kills you get, the easier you get grenades back and can keep the chain going. But what if you have a pesky teammate who robs your kill just as you throw your grenade? Now you won't get any grenade energy back from Ashen Wake. Well, that is where the next few mods come into play. First, you want your Ashen Wakes to be solar. This allows you to run Impact Induction, which allows you to get grenade energy back when you cause damage with a melee attack. As mentioned before, the hammer is really strong anyways, so if you are out of grenades, feel free to use it. It can also be picked up so you can keep using it over and over. As well, on our class item we have 2 bomber mods which give us a chunk of grenade energy back when we use our barricade. And lastly, of course, we are running 100 Discipline, which gives us a 28-second grenade cooldown. So as you can see, we are literally all in on grenades. And trust me, it works amazingly, as you can probably tell from the background gameplay. The last crucial mod is on our helmet, where we run double ashes to assets. This mod allows us to gain super energy on grenade kills. And as you can see, that super meter can fill up really fast if you are taking out groups of ads with your grenades. This will allow you to easily get the first super of the game, which can create orbs for your team, allowing them to get their supers quicker. So that is the ad clear side of the build, but we are far from done. We haven't even talked about weapons. I like to run double special because I am barely using my weapons anyways. I like having a sniper as this is good for things like shriekers which can melt you if you aren't careful, and can also be good for taking out invaders. In the other slot, we have a 1-2 punch shotgun. This is great for dealing with high health targets like blocker knights or the primeval envoys. You can shoot them and then do a hammer melee to deal a ton of damage, especially if you have roaring flames times 3. And lastly, we have tractor cannon for debuffing the primeval and other high health targets. I also run shotgun scavenger so that I have lots of ammo if I ever find a heavy brick. All you need is one and you're pretty much good to go. So as I said, the whole time you're basically ad clearing with your grenades or super, but what happens when it comes to boss damage time? The big problem is, Ashen Wake only works when you are getting kills, and your fusion grenades aren't enough to kill a primeval. Well, when the boss comes out, swap to Syntheseps. They have the exotic perk Biotic Enhancements, which increase melee lunge range and improve melee and super damage when you're surrounded. The last part is huge. Biotic Enhancements will increase your melee and super damage by 200% or 3 times more damage. So what you want to do is kill the envoys with your hammer to get Roaring Flames going. You can also kill a bunch of the trash ads that spawn in, but this is much easier done in a fire team as they know you need to stack your Roaring Flames. I tried this solo and it was very difficult to get my stacks of Roaring Flames going because they would often kill the ads too soon. And if I did, it was right around the time an invader would come in and kill me. It can be extremely frustrating when it doesn't all stack up, but trust me, it is even more satisfying when you can pull it off. If you are solo, I would recommend holding super until the boss to get some easy super kills and then go to Pound Town on the primeval. So how this combo is supposed to work is you get Roaring Flames times 3, and then you hit the boss with Tractor Cannon to apply a 30% debuff, and then you shoot it with a 1-2 punch shotgun, and then you throw your hammer. This will absolutely melt the boss. A couple of the boss melt clips are from me, and another couple are from my friend Tips the B-Man. He has a Destiny Instagram and a YouTube channel that you should check out if you want to see some cracked clips. He plays on Xbox and is amazing, and he is proof that you can easily pull this combo off on console as well. Big thanks to him for allowing me to share his clips. Now, if you are curious, I will break down all the damage buffs going on in this melt. First, like I said, we need Roaring Flames times 3 for that 2.2x damage buff. This will take our throwing hammer from 14,301 damage at base to 31,419. Then, we have the Biotic Enhancements perk from Syntheseps, buffing this a further 3 times to take our Roaring Flames times 3 hammer up to 94,257 damage. So now we are doing 6.6 times more damage. Then, we throw in another buff from our 1-2 punch shotgun. This takes the damage up to 282,771. Or at least it should. On paper it should, as 1-2 punch gives a 3x damage buff. This really threw me for a loop in testing as I thought my math was off or something. But after testing some more, I found that when I used a 1-2 punch shotgun and then threw the hammer, it actually hit for 70,789 damage. And if we recall, our base damage is 14,301, so this means 1-2 punch is actually giving a 4.95x damage multiplier with the hammer melee. Bizarre. I have no idea why this is the case, and if you know, please let me know down in the comments. I tested 1-2 punch with a regular melee, and it only gave 3x damage, so I'm not sure why we get a higher damage multiplier when using the mini hammer. But with that being said, now if we take our Syntheseps Roaring Flames times 3 hammer at 94,257 and multiply by 4.95, we come up with, drumroll please, 466,572 damage, or 466,568 as you can see on screen. Simply a rounding error, where before we were way off. As I said, I don't really have a clue for why that was happening. And then finally, if we take that number and multiply by 1.3, which is the debuff from Tractor Cannon, we get 606,538 damage, which is the total damage of the combo. So from a regular hammer that hits 14,301 damage, we scale it all the way up to 606,538 damage, which is a 42.4x damage buff. And now you can see why we shred the primeval so damn fast. I hope you enjoyed my deep dive into the damage stacking of all these buffs. But back to the main build, I have made a lot of Gambit builds over the years, and I seriously think this one is the strongest. Maybe not the most fun, but certainly the strongest. I have a couple really fun and strong builds to share with you guys in the coming days as well, so if you aren't subscribed, then be sure to do so you don't miss out on those videos. I originally wanted to get into YouTube to showcase all of my amazing builds, so I certainly plan on doing more of these build videos in the future. Think like Error or I Am Cool Guy style. I really enjoy all the combinations and synergies that are out there and really digging deep to make them work to their max potential. But much like you guys, I can't wait to get my hands on Void 3.0 and really take the build crafting to the next level. If you enjoyed this video, then a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And if you made it this far into the video, then I thank you so much for watching. Take care.